Hey, Jules Blessed Vegan, and as always, welcome to my channel. And for those of you who are new, I know you can benefit. And I know we have some newbies. Thanks so much for subscribing, you guys. We just hit our, wait for it, dun 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 dun, 101 subscriber. Yay, God, we made it past 100. I am stoked. Thank you so much for chiming in and saying, yo, Jewel, what's up? I keep hearing about this channel. Well, here it is. So I want to talk about the need to get over the sense that we have to always eat everything on our plates. I don't know if that was true for you. Certainly people of my generation always heard, you better eat everything on your plate. People are starving in China. And then like later they were saying, you know, if you don't eat everything on your plate, you're not going to get dessert. And these are a problem. They're really a problem. And I've discussed this before. First of all, people in China were saying, 这叫地下 America. They were telling their kids, eat everything on your plate. Children are starving in America. How's that? And then on top of that, it's like, didn't Garfield, yes, I'm sure you did, the cartoon Garfield said, eat dessert first, life is uncertain. So when I really have to eat all that food, I'm telling you, all these things stuck with me and stuck on my thighs, my hips, my breast, everywhere, because I got into this habit of thinking I had to eat everything on my plate and often intentionally ordering the real food, boredly struggling through binging on every bit of it so I could get to what I really wanted, which was the sugar. Can you dig that? Hello, hands up if you can relate. I am looking for a few honest souls who say, I so get that. So anyway, I have this article. It's called Why Cleaning Your Plate Can Be a Harmful Habit. And of course, it's true by Self Magazine. And as always, I will connect it in the description of this video because that's how I roll. It says, it may have been drilled in you since you were a kid. You have to finish the food that's on your plate before you can get up from the meal. That's another thing. And I've kind of shared on this before. I'm the youngest of 11 children, and we were only 11 years and 10 months apart. So when I was like 1 or 2, my oldest brother was like 13 and 14, and my parents kind of paired us up. Like the top half of the kids took care of the bottom half of the kids. And inevitably, they would fill my plate for me. And you know, when you're a little kid and it's like a mound of food, you can almost hear, oh, it goes forever. And you don't even know what to do with yourself. And it was like, you're going to eat everything on your plate. I would fall asleep at the dinner table. I am not kidding you. Is that something anyone else can relate to? I would fall asleep at the dinner table. I could not eat everything on my plate, but as my body would attest, I mastered it later. So it says, while the concept of cleaning your plate is used with the best of intentions, it can be a serious struggle to get children to eat well, even on a good day. And people rarely bother to clarify that it's really not necessary once you hit adulthood. And it says, yeah, parents are very concerned about their kids getting enough nutrients. They're growing every day. They're changing every day. But adults, not so much. So it says, no matter where the instinct comes from, experts say cleaning your plate on autopilot can be detrimental. I mean, even if it's good food, I have fruit and vegetables, but I'm like so concerned that if I don't eat it all now, what if I'm hungry in the middle of the night? If I don't eat it all now, what if I want to eat outside my window? The window was self-imposed, right? 10:30 to 6:30 was self-imposed. But I have a panic attack that I might break the rule. I'm totally one of those, followers of rules. I think most teachers are. Okay, getting in the habit of cleaning your plate makes it more likely that you will consistently overeat, since you aren't paying attention to your feelings of fullness. So true. Cleaning your plate sets you up for using external clues. Sorry, cues, not clues. External cues as opposed to internal cues for figuring out what an appropriate amount of food is for you. If you're used to feeling like you have to clean your plate on a subconscious level, you might ignore those internal cues that you're full. Guys, so true, so true. And I was reading a different article where this lady said that she was in China. That's why I was joking about China, and I spent time in China. And on their tables, they tend to use a lazy Susan. It doesn't break up the conversation, and people can just take from it as they need. But she did an experiment where every time one thing was left, whether it was a dumpling or a meatball or whatever was left. Somebody at the table, in America for sure, in China, even in Mexico, they'd be like, oh, ching, 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 chong, chong. You know, they'd be like, and I'm just playing because I do know some Mandarin, but not well enough. Inevitably, someone would say, oh, don't leave the last man standing. Who's going to eat the last one? Oh, gee, we shouldn't waste. Make sure someone eats that. I have become a human garbage disposal at times in my life, honestly. I felt so bad, and I know a lot of moms have done this where they can't quite get the plate to the disposal because, oh my gosh, it's just a couple bites. Maybe they need to eat it. Oh my gosh, so many times. Well, I can't waste it. Hello? Have you ever heard of leftovers? Could you possibly store it? Could you have put less on to begin with? I was thinking with my husband, we go to this one place that has an unlimited salad bar. Unlimited, meaning you can go back and get more. It never registers for me. I always come to the table and it's a plate instead of a bowl, which is just doesn't work at all. And I will have this mound of salad and all the stuff. And my husband's like, it said unlimited, Juliana. You did get that you could go back, right? And I'm like, what? And it's just like falling over the sides. I don't know why. I just can't get that. I have this huge salad and I'm like, okay, so let's get better at the idea that we can actually go back for seconds. I don't know. So it says, here's the thing. For starters, most of our plates are way too big to begin with. Since the 1980s, the size of our dinner plates ballooned from roughly 10 inches to 12 inches, encouraging us to eat more than we need even when we're full, of course. Weight loss and maintenance are different to different people, and so much more goes into what you weigh than whether or not you clean your plate. Factors like exercise, sleep, hormonal issues, and any health conditions outside your control are important to consider. If you want to change your weight in some way, it's also important to think about whether you're going about it in a healthy way, especially if you have a history of disordered eating, in which case you might want to get professional help. All right, cleaning your plate is the opposite of mindful eating, and I did a really good video on mindful eating. There was 4 important steps to eating mindfully, and part of it included, pausing, assessing on a scale of 1 to 10 how you're actually feeling during your meal, things like that. So it says, mindful eating is a growing practice in which people are encouraged to appreciate and savor every bite of their food. That was another part. Consistently eating every bite on your plate is so far on the other end of the spectrum that Rumsey calls it mindless eating. Mindful eating is about getting back in touch with our feelings of hunger and fullness and learning to listen to our bodies. It's also about reconnecting with the experience of really tasting and paying attention to our food. Oh yeah, that was another one. It was being present and hearing the sounds around you, even if it's crunching, right? Sipping, smelling the flavors and the aromas going on in the room. Actually feeling, is it salty? Like all those things, keeping you present when you're mindfully eating. I'm remembering I'll try and connect that other video in here. By being truly mindful about what you're eating, you can reconnect with your feelings of hunger and satiety. Is it satiety? I know it's satiation. Why do I have so much trouble with that word? Satiety? Teach me it if you know. So you're a lot less likely to overeat in the process. All right. Of course, there's concern about wasting food on your plate, which is legitimate, but Ansel points out that the eating extra calories that you don't need is also something of a waste. Hello? Missed opportunity for leftovers, and it doesn't help your overall health either. A better strategy is to keep a close eye on how much you cook or order to prevent buying food that you don't need. So true. I remember we used to go out to fast food places or whatever, and I was so afraid I wouldn't have enough. I'd get jumbo orders of things. Oh my gosh. Oh, I'm so glad we're talking about this. By we, I mean my multiple personalities, but I hope you're there. Okay, breaking a habit that may have been drilled into you since childhood isn't always easy, and it may take a few methods to learn to be okay with not finishing every morsel every single time. The first step is realizing that you actually have this habit, which again, maybe this doesn't apply to you. I would love that. I know Carolyn, who is my raw food journey on Instagram and stuff. Her children don't have this problem. She's not making her girls eat everything on their plate, and they don't have a sense of the need to do so. I love that. Once you're aware of the fact that you're eating out of habit, not hunger, it's a lot easier to break the routine. To do just that, Corden recommends eliminating distractions. This was another part of that mindful eating in the other video I did. To stop distractions like TV, your computer, texting, books, and just focus on eating your meal. That makes it more likely that you'll actually experience the food and recognize your fullness as a result. You can also try this trick that Corden recommends to her patients. Put down your utensils between bites. Yeah, I remember that one. Put it down between bites and actually chew your food and wait. It gives your brain a moment to register that you're eating and helps people pace themselves. Plus, she adds, it can slow down the process, making it more likely that your brain will catch up with your stomach in terms of satiety. I'm going to learn that word. I'm so sorry because it came up in another video I did, and I should have learned it then. Satiety. Is that it? Satiety? That's such an important factor that Warren suggests, slowing down your eating in general. She specifically recommends trying to take at least 20 minutes per meal to allow your brain to process satiety signals. Oh my gosh, I'm being punished with that word. Okay, what's really important though is that I know as a teacher, we barely get any time. Half the time I'm making copies, I'm running at recess, I'm doing all these things, and I mow my food down. My snack at first recess at 10:30, something at lunch. I mow it all down, and I mean it. It's just like, oh my gosh. But what I was thinking was what's unfortunate is the reason I think we're seeing obesity and setting our children up is because, like in the cafeteria, the students literally only get 15 minutes per class, and then like 15 minutes of recess. Well, 4 or 5 minutes is waiting in line. Then you finally have your food, you eat what you can, and you're already lining up. Many of them, of course, choose the very quick processed foods. Who's going to take the time to actually go over to that salad bar? Who even has time? I remember they would give oranges the children weren't even capable of peeling. And by the time I lovingly peeled them, they barely had time to consume that, let alone the rest of their food. And sometimes they would give them maybe a fruit. It'd be fruit in a cup, but it'd be frozen. And they'd spend the whole time just trying to scoop out the fruit in the cup that was frozen. And again, not even get any meals. So they're being trained to eat in 8 minutes time, which is that whole hoarding thing. It's so terrible. I don't know. I'm waiting on a teaching job, which God's going to give me, but maybe I need to re-pursue that and find some way that they can justify a proper amount, at least 20 minutes of actually with the food sitting down. Because I noticed when we did have extra time, if we were the last in line or whatever, the children did consume the good food. It was so important. Okay. To that end, you may also need to take timeouts while eating to listen your body. Ooh, typo. To listen to your body and rate your levels of hunger. This was one in that other video that I did. So you're counting to 1, which is you're starving to death, and 10, which is you're comfortably satiated. All right, so when you reach 6 or 7, you're supposed to take a couple of minutes to think about how you're feeling. Chances are you realize that you've had enough to eat. If that doesn't work, she says you might first want to learn what it feels like to eat smaller portions by using a salad plate instead of a dinner plate to help you get back into the habit of feeling satisfied with smaller portions. Then you can upgrade to a bigger plate in the future. Cool. If you eat out a lot and tend to clean your plate at restaurants too, Corden suggests splitting a meal with a friend to make it impossible that you'll eat the whole thing. Another trick, and my mother has always been so slender, but she always, before the meal came, she'd tell the person, "Hi, put half in a to-go box." What? I love that neither of my parents had weight issues, right? Okay. So you put the portion aside before you even see it. That's hot, right? Might be hard the first few times, but start to implement mindful eating techniques and you will be successful. What do you think, you guys? I thought that was great. Again, it's an issue for me. And I know, I tell myself it's only fruit and vegetables. What's the big deal? And another part of me is going, the big deal is I'm already full and you won't stop eating. That's the big deal. So I'd love your feedback. Please let me know in the comments below so that I may support you. Like if you like, subscribe if you haven't. Know that I pray for you, and until we talk again, be blessed.